my melanin queens. What's up with the gang, gang, gang? Hey, what's up with the gang, gang, gang? So, welcome back to my channel. I missed you guys. So, as you guys can clearly see, I am in the hospital. I am in the hospital for my sickle cell disease. I'm having a pain crisis. And on top of that, I'm having flu-like symptoms of my throat hurting, congestions within my chest, runny nose, throat burning, and I guess other cold-like symptoms. So, today's vlog is going to be about sickle cell, and I'm going to share with you guys some of my experiences and some of my knowledge. The first thing people always ask is, what is sickle cell disease? That's a good question. I'm going to give you guys two definitions. The first definition will be the politically correct definition that we will read verbatimly off of the Google website so you can get the mainstream definition of what sickle cell. But then I'm also going to give you guys my personal and more of a urban hood slang of what sickle cell is. So for people who don't want to really dissect, the political or proper terminology for the disease, they can relate to it with me, with words that they're more familiar with, or just speaking in slang, I guess. I'm really teeter and totter from when I speak very professional to where I only speak slang. So it kind of just changes on the environment and just what type of mood I'm feeling, honestly. So the first definition we're going to do is the politically correct definition. And it says, I'm reading it off of my laptop too. Sickle cell disease is a group of disorder that affects the hemoglobin, the molecule in the red cells that deliver oxygen throughout the body. People with this disorder have a typical hemoglobin molecules called hemoglobin S, which can distort red blood cells into sickles or crescent shape. And on the side, it says sickle cell anemia, a group of disorders that cause red blood cells to become mishappen and break down. Treatment can help, but this condition can't be cured. Requires a medical diagnosis, lab tests or imaging always required. Chronic, can last for years or be lifetime. With sickle cell disease, an inherited group of disordered red blood cells contour into a shape of a sickle. The cell dies early, leaving a shortage of healthy red blood cells, sickle cell anemia, and can block the blood flow, causing pain, which would be the sickle cell crisis. Infections, pain, fatigue are symptoms of sickle cell disease. Treatment includes medication, blood transfusion, and rarely a bone transplant. Cool. So now we got the politically correct version of what sickle cell disease is. The next version would just be me speaking to you as if I seen you on the street, and I would tell you, they'll say, "Hey, Malia, what is sickle cell? I've never heard of that." And I would respond back, sickle cell is a blood disorder that takes out regular blood cells that are in the shape of a circle or a donut, and it turns them into sickles that we would see in the wintertime on our car or on our houses. And what it does is our red blood cells help provide oxygen through our bloodstream. So our cells are flowing through our veins, our blood, our joints, all these things. When our circular shape turns into a sickle shape, it goes from flowing to now penetrating. When these cells die off rapidly, it causes the patient to have a weaker immune system, meaning that we get more infections faster. We have a weak immune system, basically, meaning that a cold for us could be super deadly. You know what I mean? It turns really bad very fast. So that would kind of be my definition of what sickle cell is, just speaking. And now some symptoms that I have experienced from sickle cell disease personally. I get acute chest syndrome a lot. My joints always hurt. well, I'm not going to say always hurt, but I have sickle cell, so very often my joints are excruciating and they're in a lot of pain. Sometimes people want a description of what the pain actually feels like, and sometimes from my perception, if you can imagine taking a nail, right? The nail is the sickle, and imagine a hammer trying to nail something in a wall or in concrete. And think of that as your bones. It's like your blood flow is hammering this sickle cell through your blood, through your bone, and it causes pain, inflammation, all types of stuff. And from that, we get, really sick really fast, and, a lot of things that trigger. I'm going to get on that too. Yeah, guys, so I'm glad that I'm able to come to you guys and tell you guys my experiences. And if you guys have any questions, I mean any questions about sickle cell, you comment it below. I will answer it, and if I don't have the answers, I will tell you that. I will never lie to anyone. I won't make some shit up. If I don't know it, I don't know it. I'll just tell you I don't know, and we'll have to just do the research from there to answer the question that was asked. But so far we talked about what sickle cell is, what were the triggers, what were symptoms, how it affected me, and how did I feel about having it. We talked about nurses and how of an impact that they can have on a patient's stay. What else is a topic that we really need to discuss? Because I'm going to make like a little segment in my channel, and it's going to be for sickle cell. All sickle cell, so it will be sickle cell vlogging if I'm in the hospital, or just simple appointments, anything related sickle cell content. We're going to make a whole segment, a playlist in my channel dedicated to sickle cell. So when you guys want any type of videos you want me to make, comment them below. We're going to put the sickle cell on the map. The more people can be compassionate for it is the more when they understand it and they know, and they understand what the person is going through. And we do that just by sharing our experiences with people. When I upload the video, someone will watch it, someone will share it, and they'll have new enlightenment. And that's that simple. Another main question that I always get is, Malaya, what triggers sickle cell? And that's a very good question. So I'm going to be speaking from my personal experiences and understand that different people have different experiences. So my first trigger would be extreme weather. Whether it's super, super hot and my body couldn't adjust fast enough and I'm getting dehydrated at a rapid pace that my body can't adjust to, I start sickling. Or the cold. If it's super cold outside, the cold weather is kind of like kryptonite for sickle cell. Once it really sits up in your bones and soaks up in there, it just triggers a crisis. Another thing would be switching from one temperature to another temperature. So say I'm at Six Flags and it's pretty, nice outside, I guess. We'll say it's around 70 degrees. So I'm in the pool. The pool water is kind of cold. Then when I get out the pool, I go to an extreme temperature of hotness. Sometimes if the temperatures are too extreme, it causes my body not to be able to adjust. So that will trigger the sickle cell. Another thing that triggers sickle cell disease crisis is stress. Stress, my melanin queens, let me tell you, stress will cause you to have a crisis. I promise you. Because stress is such a powerful thing, and it releases a lot of chemicals in our brain, and you have to know how strong your mind is. It's so powerful that if we really manifest and embrace negative thought, it physically makes us sick. Now, as a sickle cell patient, if you're thinking negative and you're always sick, mentally you get depressed, which physically reacts to your body and has you even more sicker. So be careful with stress, melanin queens, please, because stress definitely triggers sickle cell. Another trigger for my sickle cell would be hard impact. If a certain joint hits a surface area that's too hard, then it's almost guaranteed that that certain area that had the impact will sickle. I don't know the really scientific, things behind it to explain that to you guys, and maybe I'll look into that. But for some reason, hard impact always triggers, a crisis for me. Another trigger for my crisis would be water. Being in a pool or any body of water for long periods of time. I used to really struggle with this as a child because I loved to swim and I loved amusement parks, and I used to want to only go for like the water stuff. But unfortunately with sickle cell, it's like when these water, it starts to seep in our bones, and then us doing all the energy and stuff from swimming, it literally makes me sick. Like, so when I'm in the pool or when I go swimming, I do it in increments. I might swim for 15 minutes, then I'll take a break for 15 minutes. Swim for 30 minutes, take a break for 30 minutes. I pace myself because I know that, me being in the water for long periods of times will trigger it. Another thing that would trigger your sickle cell, smoking. Smoking in any form to some degree will trigger your sickle cell, because what you have to understand is our cells are already deformed to the point where they're not carrying enough oxygen. They're not bringing enough oxygen into our body. And when we smoke and we bring all that smoke in our lungs, it's kind of making our body even harder to provide oxygen. And if you ever notice, for anybody who smoked cigarettes or marijuana, when people are really in extreme crises, they can't smoke to bring them back. I mean, they can use a form of an edible with cannabis or things like that for medical reasonings. And sickle cell patients a lot do get medical cards because it does have a lot of, healthy ways that it can organically cure and heal. Well, not cure, I'll just say heal and help manage a lot of sickle cell patients' disease. Another trigger that I can say is we did smoking, swimming, extreme temperature, hard impact, dehydration. So you see I'm in the hospital now, right? You see that my lips look dry. My lips are usually voluptuous. Well, because since my body isn't producing all these cells and I'm not getting this top-notch oxygen, it's literally dehydrating my body. And when we start to take the pain medicine that the doctors gives on top of it, when we're already going through crisis, it sucks the life out of us more. So if you look up there, most sickle cell patients get that. And that is what you call a fluid bag. It has fluids, a lot of electrolytes, a lot of all type of things just for the sickle cell patient to be hydrated. Another thing that triggers sickle cell is if you don't drink water. As a sickle cell patient, as I drink cranberry juice, I say, what is the irony of that? As a sickle cell patient, you need to love water. And I'm talking about positively charged water, alkaline water. You need to drink from sunup to sundown. And it shouldn't be questioned. It's mandatory as a sickle cell patient. Because again, we already broke down that we lack cellular oxygen. Basically is what it is. So we're trying to make sure if these red blood cells don't produce enough oxygen, we supplement our body with more ways organically. We can do that through green veggies. Anything that's green that goes through photosynthesis, that's a vegetable, you should be able to consume it and get a lot of good cellular oxygen from it. Water. What is water? Hydrogen and oxygen. So this is why we drink a lot of water, especially as sickle cell patients, because it's kind of rejuvenating us for, it's kind of giving us more oxygen, cellular oxygen. So those are like the main triggers for me. I'm sure there's like a couple others that I'll do in an upcoming video, but I don't want to have this video too long. So those are the main triggers that I would say for me with my sickle cell. I decided to record a video while I was in the hospital because I wanted you guys to see like real life, you know, footage. And it's rare. I don't rarely see, sickle cell footage on YouTube, or people who openly like, I have sickle cell, this is my life, I own it. And I guess I'm going to start the trend of just saying, I have sickle cell, this is my life, and I own it.
It's just a pain medicine.
Yes. You want to be on YouTube?
No, not ready.
Okay, not ready. That's my awesome nurse. He doesn't want to be on video, so you guys will just hear his audio. But he's treated me so good here on my stay here. I'm at Hopkins, and he's just been a very compassionate person to me. And some people don't understand how the energy of others really can affect a patient's stay. So when a nurse has really positive energy, that energy reflects onto the patient, and they feel a little safe. They feel like, okay, I'm around someone who really cares about my health, versus when you get a nurse that's very robotic and they're not so compassionate. It makes a sickle cell patient feel like, oh wow, am I about to be judged? Does this nurse even care? They probably just think I want medicine. All these other things. So you got to be very grateful, sickle cell patients, my melanin queens. When you get good nurses, you treat them with respect, because you want them to always remember you in a positive light. So they give you positive treatment. And something as simple as interactions with people will linger on to the physical reaction of the body, because everything's connected on a mind, body, and soul level. So if emotionally a nurse makes you feel good, they're kind of aiding to your healing. They're healing you in a way because now your mind can relax and you feel good, so you can focus on your body that needs the healing. And I'm just blessed that I got to have a really good nurse like I did today. And I'm glad he came so that you guys can hear his video on the YouTube. All right. What helps us prosper with having sickle cell is to be able to articulate what's going on with our body. Because when you come to a doctor and you tell them, hey, I'm used to having chronic pain in my back. It's a part of my sickle cell. It runs at a pain score of about 3. They know that your baseline is around a 3. There you say, hey doctor, my regimen is usually oxycodone blank milligrams, and I take it blank every blank hours. Then they can you're telling them what you already done. What they're going to do is going to add things on top to better your treatment, and it's going to be a faster process. You know what I mean? That's a way of getting things done. Point A, point B is going into there assured of what you need done. You can't go in there like, I just need help, I need help, because they're not educated enough on the disease to know how to help you. So since it's your disease, you need to know how to help yourself, to the point where you can articulate to them how to help you. You get what I'm saying? You say, doctor, this is my regimen. This is what helps me. When I have a pain score of 7 or above, I come to the hospital because I know that my home meds can no longer sustain the amount of pain that I am enduring at the moment. When you have this articulation and they understand you, they can say, okay, well, we're going to start you off with this. We'll see how that works, and then we'll come back in this hour. You know what I mean? You have to be very certain as a sickle cell patient, and you kind of got to go in there telling the doctor what your diagnosis is off the bat. I have sickle cell. This is what happens. This is what I use to make it better. And if you have any type of infection, you tell them, I'm feeling this in my chest. I'm feeling this in my body. If you feel something that's not normal on a daily basis, you make it vocal, because it could be a significant change in your disease or in your body, and you don't know, and they don't know because they can't assume. So you really have to verbatimly say, okay, make sure your urine, make sure you take care, ladies, wipe properly, make sure you pee after sex, because you don't want to get infections with this disease. You want to keep your body as pure and clean as possible, so you don't have to put your body through a lot of stress from when we do get infections to try to fight them off. So that would be the advice that I give for the hospitalization. And like I said, I can make a whole video just on hospitalization, and that's it. But I don't want this to be super long. So pretty much we covered a lot of things today in the video of sickle cell. Trust me guys, it's so much more knowledge work for sickle cell. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to give you guys really good videos of specifically explaining in depth about each topic that we went over. I wanted to give you guys like a really good vast of what sickle cell was, and a time fashionly video that you guys could watch. So the upcoming video will probably be in like a vlog style, and I'll just be showing you guys what I do, things I take, all these extra things. So I'm grateful for anyone who's made it this far in the video. I love all my melanin queens and kings, and I love my sickle salients. And you guys stay strong. You keep your chest up. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to make it through. I promise you. You're going to make it through because you're strong, sickle salient. Sickle salient, you're a survivor. You're strong. You overcome pain that the toughest of the toughest would break if they went through it. So, my kings, my queens, my sickle salients, I wish you guys nothing but peace and blessings. I appreciate you guys watching this video. And if you liked it, give me a like button. If you want to comment something, comment it below. And if you want to see good content with me explaining to you guys about the disease and showing you guys my experiences, comment. You know, it's the more that we can help sickle cells is the more audience that we have and the more people that we can educate. So share this video, like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey guys,